So the financial pressure was absolutely relentless. Now, unfortunately, during that time, I've had some particularly bad news. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. It is good morning here. In fact, no, I think we've just tipped into afternoon now. It is Sunday and I'm at home and you are joining me in my home today because this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Now, for those of you that follow the channel and subscribe, first of all, thank you. But secondly, you'll probably understand that I'm the sort of bloke that plays with a straight bat and I am very open, probably too open. I do get criticised for it. And I hate people that say this, but I like to think I'm honest. But usually when someone says that, you run a mile. But anyway, this video is going to be very, very open and honest because I kind of want to talk about what's been happening with me personally over the last few months and some pretty bad news that I've had as well on a business point of view that is going to change things moving forward, and I'm having to make some decisions that I didn't expect to be making. And I kind of want to explain it to you so you understand what's going on. And also I wanted to say thank you. And there's good reason for that. I started doing YouTube just in sort of the middle of last year. And the reason I did it is because we're doing a bit of TikTok and we sort of enjoyed it. We're actually buying cars from it. So it sort of made sense from a business point of view. But then I started doing YouTube because Joe at Shifting Metal actually told me to do it. And some of the comments and feedback that I get from subscribers are just fantastic. It's such a buzz to provide content that people enjoy. And I love it. And I read all of the comments. And I know I don't always reply to them, but I am quite a busy man. Ignore the fact that I'm currently sat at home in my new contemplation zone. And I am sat here for good reason because I have been contemplating a lot over the last few months. So for those of you that are new and not a subscriber, you probably aren't aware, but about 5 months ago, I decided to buy a wreck of a house. And the reason that I did that is because I was currently living in a flat and I needed to get moved into it by March of this year because I had a baby coming. Now, the pressure of that I thought I could handle. And I mean, we've come out the other side of it, so I guess I did handle it, but it was really, really difficult. And if I'm being honest, last year I was in a really, really dark place. So basically, as a result of taking on this house, I had to essentially close the business for 4 months. I was still there sort of selling cars when I could do, but I certainly wasn't going out buying cars. I had to focus all of my energy on this. We've done a full house renovation in 4 months, which is quite an achievement and I am proud of it, but it has been so stressful, especially when you tie that in with the fact that the market was bad at the back end of last year anyway. We weren't selling many cars even though I had a lot of stock in. I ended up having to pump up my auto trader costs just to try and generate some of that interest. And I also, foolishly, hadn't sold my flat when I bought this house. And as a result of which I had to do some pretty sketchy bridging stuff. So the financial pressure was absolutely relentless. That, given the fact that my good lady was also ever growing at home and I could see this wonderful thing that was emerging and due to land with us in March of this year. So it was difficult, very difficult. And I genuinely was contemplating closing the business at one point because, of course, I wasn't selling cars, but the warranty claims were still coming in. And you kind of got all of the bad stuff and none of the good stuff. And this place was costing an absolute fortune. I've gone double what I thought it was going to cost. It was so Grand Designsy. If you ever watch it, pregnant missus, way over budget, haven't sold my house, we're on a bridging loan. It was just perfect. Anyway, God bless those people that do grand designs. This is certainly not a grand design. It's a bungalow that we've converted. So it's get over yourself, Rob. However, nonetheless, it was very stressful. Now, unfortunately, during that time, I've had some particularly bad news, and it sounds very sinister when you say that. It's nothing kind of personal. It's business related, and unfortunately, that has really changed my mindset as to kind of what I want to do moving forwards, especially when you dovetail that in with YouTube. I'm going to go on to this in a little bit more detail. I'm just going to have my coffee. It's good coffee here. Not like at work. Anyway, so unfortunately, Callum told me in January of this year that he has made plans to leave the country. He's indeed going to be leaving with his good lady, fiance, soon to be wife as of next week, and they are going to start a new life in Sweden, which is incredible. I am so happy for him. I think he's such a good guy. He's hardworking, he's trustworthy, all the other stuff that goes with it. He will, whatever gets thrown at him, he will make a do of it. And my initial reaction to getting that news was genuinely pleased for him, because he started working for me 2 years ago. I was basically on my own for 4 years, 3 or 4 years before he joined. And when he came on board, I was really reluctant, because I'd had staff in the past and it just hadn't worked out. I'm not the easiest bloke to work with at times. I play with a straight bat and I say exactly what I think. However, Callum came in cap in hand looking for a job, and I gave him a chance, and it has been, honestly, he's a friend rather than an employee, but we both know where we stand. It's a great relationship. So truthfully, I was happy for him. The second feeling that I got was I felt quite relieved. And that made me really think, why am I relieved that he's going? And I think it's because I was almost felt burdened by a lad that I really like and respect and genuinely trust and consider a friend. That if I was to throw the keys away and shut the door and chuck it all away and quit, that would affect him. So the fact that he said, I'm leaving, my initial reaction was actually genuine relief, because if you've asked me in December of last year how business was, I was so close to throwing the towel in. I just wasn't in a good place. So I had to make some decisions at that stage, and I knew that I was going to be coming into a year of massive uncertainty. Child on the way, new mortgage, which is a lot more expensive than the last mortgage was, Callum leaving, we don't know what the market's going to look like. You know, all of a sudden I've got a huge kind of amount of changes to deal with. Anyway, this coincided within December, my parents approaching me and telling me that they were also very worried and concerned about my health, because I was very stressed out at the time. I put on a huge amount of weight, and if you watch some of the older videos, you'll notice I've managed to get a bit of that off. And they did approach me and said they were a little bit concerned about my health because of how much I'd taken on. And so I promised them that I was going to lose some weight and start taking care of myself. And we also said that in April of this year, once baby had arrived, once all the dust had settled, I was going to start making a plan. Now, my plan initially was, I'm just going to do it on my own again, because I did it on my own before. It was easy enough to do. It wasn't, that's a lie. It was really difficult. But there was no stress of thinking about somebody else. And that was my main concern with taking somebody on. So my battle plan was, well, what I might do actually is get rid of the showroom. I've got places to park cars here. I might just go back to being a driveway dealer. It's just easier. There's no overheads and all the stuff that goes with it. And the longer I've thought about it, the more I've realised I've built quite a special showroom, and the rent isn't astronomical. And I do enjoy the fact that I can get away from home and into work. And so therefore I need to make that place work. Now this is where YouTube comes in. It's kind of coincided with it. So YouTube was something that I started because Joe at Shifting Metal told me to start it. He followed me on TikTok and we've had some really good chats. Now the purpose of it was really just to create some content and have a bit of a laugh. And it's sort of grown a little bit. I mean, this sounds like a man who's got 1 million subscribers and he's sat in his Bugatti Veyron, but I do feel like there's a really nice community behind this channel, and I really appreciate it. We've got people that are coming in now just to say hello, and some of the kind comments really give me enthusiasm for the job. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, or what I am going to do, is I'm going to employ someone to help me with YouTube. So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm coming home and we're knocking out quite a few videos at the moment, and that's because I do everything. I know Callum holds cameras, but I will film, edit, audio, upload, description, all that sort of stuff, and it is pretty borderline a full-time job. So we do need someone who's going to help with photographing cars and videoing cars in the business anyway, especially with Callum going because he does that alongside his valeting role. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is actually find someone, and I'm already looking for someone, and I've actually got a second interview with a chap, and he's probably going to be watching this thinking, oh, pressure's on now, to come in on Thursday next week, just to start kind of having a bit of a feel and see whether or not it would work for me, but also work for somebody else. Is this something that somebody would actually want to do? So it's really exciting. Also, what I need to do as well is think about replacing Callum, which is really, really difficult to think about, to be honest. And I do hope that it becomes another relationship like it's been with Callum. But at the same time, I know that he's quite a special lad, and you don't meet many Callums. I've had enough people with me to know you don't meet many Callums. But what I've realised by having him in is that actually people make a business. So what I'm going to do this year, I'm going to create a team of people. I would like a new valeter who's going to deal with that side of things. We might start doing valeting and detailing for the public, which I know we did a bit with Callum last year, and that worked. I'm going to get a media person to help with what's going on with the business. So you've got car photographs and videos, etc., but also with the YouTube stuff as well. And I might even look for a salesman. So all I have to do then is focus on buying stock, making sure the business is performing, and getting good deals in. It's really difficult. This is a really awkward place to be in business because it's not big enough to chop and change and bring more people in, but it is growing. So I'm in a bit of a weird position at the moment, and I guess I just wanted to have a chat with you really and just sort of say, crucially, thank you. Thank you so much for the comments. They've really helped me through this kind of dark patch that I've been through. So there you go. I am known for being open and honest, and that is probably as open and honest as you're going to get from a car dealer. I'm going to sit here with my little bird watching book. I'm in my 30s, and I'm going to enjoy my coffee. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be really helpful if you did, because let's face it, YouTube is now paying a revenue, and it's not a lot of money. So this month we might be on for about 1,300 quid, which when I say isn't a lot of money, it is actually quite a lot of money, but I've put a lot of effort in. So if you're not already subscribed, please do. So there we go. That's a bit of an update as to what's going on. I will be doing a house tour at some point as well, because I know some people were interested to what was actually happening there. But I just wanted to say, truthfully, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for helping, because even though you might not know it, you really have. So until next time, cheers.